Hello everyone, it's Alright here, and I'm going to talk to you today about Shattered Glass. Yes, right, that's the universe that turns the Transformers continuity upside down and makes the Autobots the bad guys and the Decepticons the good guys. Another dimension where, well, the rules that we knew from the 80s don't really apply. And I, over the last couple of months, have been picking up some of these Shattered Glass figures. Some of them as part of the recent, I don't know if it's Legacy or Kingdom or the Generations figures that Hasbro have been releasing. But there's also been previous incarnations from other lines that I've managed to pick up as well. And over the last few months, I've picked up 8 of these figures. And what I thought I'd do is I'd just go through them. So it's almost like a top 8, I suppose. But from worst to best, my favourite Shattered Glass figures I've picked up so far. And I have to say, probably the worst one. The worst one I've picked up is this guy. It's Blur. Not a massive fan of this mould anyway. But yeah, he's very, very loosey-goosey. I mean, if we look at these arm pieces here, they just flop down completely. If it wasn't for his little welder, those would be flopping down completely. I do like his head sculpt. That head sculpt is pretty awesome. I think it's just mould degradation with this guy, which is such a shame. I didn't mind the first Blur, even though I didn't like his head sculpt. And I did have this on pre-order. In fact, this was the first Shattered Glass figure I pre-ordered, but I cancelled it. And I've managed to pick up a lot of the figures on this list at reduced cost, and I got him for £12 cheaper than what his originally a release price was. But out of all the figures I've got here, I'm definitely going to say that Little Blur here is probably the worst. Next up, I'm going to go for Goldbug here. And it's not a bad figure, it's just we've had a lot of versions of this mould. And yeah, I really think this should have been the Volkswagen Beetle. As you can see, it's the Cliff Jumper mould and not the Beetle mould. Now, I did get the Goldbug that come with the Creatures Collide pack, the Standard Universe Goldbug, which is amazing and so much better than this. But yeah, I think it was just because this figure I've seen that many times. Yeah, it's nothing special. So, in 7th place, we've got Shattered Glass Goldbug. Next up is another version of that mould. We've got Bug Bite. Now, Bug Bite here is the first figure on this list that wasn't an official part of the Shattered Glass line. This was actually a figure that was released as part of the, I think it was Earthrise or Siege line? Earthrise, I think it was. As part of the Mercenaries faction. Now, I've put a Shattered Glass Autobot logo on here because in the original Shattered Glass comic, Bug Bite here was the Shattered Glass version of Bumblebee. So that's what I've used him for. And yeah, he is better than Goldbug. The same mould. I like this head. I like this Bumblebee head. I think the colours pop a little bit more than Goldbug here. But yeah, it's quite nice. Quite nice. Again, picked him up on the cheap, like the majority of these figures. Yeah, happy to have him, but not the best one I've got so far. Next up, I'm going to go for Shattered Glass Ratchet. Simply because I like this mould. I do like this mould, and I know we've got the new Ironhide mould coming up. But this is a cool figure. It was part of a 2-pack. And yeah, I like the turquoise colours. Not that much different from his G1 counterpart, but a decent, chunky deluxe figure. And yeah, I like him. He's cool. I'm happy to have him. So he was at number 5. Next up is a figure that isn't officially, again, a Shattered Glass figure, but it's definitely based on a Shattered Glass figure. I picked this up at TFN. This is Rodimus Unicronis, and again, from the same original comic that Bug Bite here was in, this was the Shattered Glass Hot Rod, and he had a goatee and everything like that, and this figure is cool. I love what Power of the Primes tried to do here with the Optimus and the Rodimus figure, and I've still got the Rodimus figure. But this is a cool figure, and again, you can detach the Rodimus, the Hot Rod mode. You can have that figure going on. There's a lot going on here. But yeah, I really hope we get a Studio Series 86 version of this figure. But that seems a while away if that's going to happen. Top 3 time, Shattered Glass Megatron. Now, this is probably the best Megatron mould we've had. I have to say, I've got the Netflix version as my main Megatron. And I like what they tried to do with this. You've got all the original gumph that come with Megatron, but you got some extra parts to change him into that jet. And he's lovely. Maybe we could have done with a different head, but you know what? We'll let it off. This again was relatively cheap from a Hasbro Pulse sale. These joints are beautiful. The figure is really, really nice. And yeah, definitely top 3 material. And you've got to have the leader of the good guys, the bad guys turn good. God, this is confusing. But Shattered Glass Megatron here is in number 3. Next up, probably the best Optimus Prime mould of all time. And yeah, it looks gorgeous in these colours. This is my 3rd version of this mould. This is Shattered Glass Optimus Prime. I believe he does come with a Matrix. That is purple. You can see that in there. You don't get his trailer, but it doesn't really matter because, you know what, this is an evil, horrible Optimus Prime. Even, I have to say, probably more psychotic than Megatron is in the original G1 cartoon. More Galvatron level of madness here. He's evil. He's absolutely evil. But this toy is beautiful. He's a great figure. I'm happy Ed managed to get one from TFN as well. I picked up this and Ratchet in a 2-pack from Star Action Figures. They randomly come back in stock a few weeks ago and I managed to get them just before TFN. But here we are. Shattered Glass Prime in number 2. Can you guess what's going to be number 1? It's my favourite character, isn't it? It's Shattered Glass Starscream. There is something about this mould, and I know with a lot of these figures, these are just retools or slight retools or recolours of existing figures, but this Starscream, oh my days, it's beautiful. It's so nice. The only bit I think of extra moulding, extra stuff you've got is this sword, which can split apart into 2. You can have some like kind of dual wielding, you can get it in your hand, dual wielding swords on the go if that's what you want to do. But it's almost got that Star Saber vibe, hasn't it? And I can't wait for the Armada version of Starscream coming out soon. But anyway, that's by the by. But Starscream is my favourite Transformers character, and this is a version of him being the hero. He's got Jetfire colours here, which I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I think it really works. And yeah, he's great. He's great. Dave Shotton got me this for my birthday. And I'm really happy he did. It is a lovely figure. And yes, I've got a fair few versions of this mould now. I think I've actually got 6, 7 versions of this mould now. But I personally think this one here is the best. So have you been collecting the Shattered Glass lineup? Which ones are you looking forward to? I did see the Shattered Glass Blaster at TFN. I did resist temptation. It was £42 there, but I may pick it up at a later date. I've been trying to get all these on the cheap. I've been trying to get them all at reduced costs in sales and all those type of things. So I might do that with Wave 2. I know we haven't had them all announced yet. I really want Slicer, even though he's more of an action master than a Shattered Glass character. The Ultra Magnus looks awesome as well, so I'll have to see if I resist temptation there. But have you got any of these Shattered Glass figures? Which one do you think is the best? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, I've been Zort Rider, and I'll catch you again really soon.